the online courses now. Okay, these are a relatively new development, I suppose, for us, like in the accountancy profession. But we're relatively new now. We probably have these for about the last 5 or 6 years, 5 years at this stage anyway. All of the courses that we run for ACCS, CMA, Chartered, and whatever, they're all streamed live. So it's very similar to what we're using here tonight. Like you've got your camera, you've got your mic, and there's a monitor here that I can see what's going on, and I can see who's online and all that kind of stuff. And if anybody's asking questions, there's a chat box open, and I can see what's going on in the chat box. Okay, so everything we do now is streamed live. So when it comes to us having a class, we'd have a number of people in the room, we'd have a number of people watching online, and then there'd be another cohort of people who'll watch the recording in their own time. Okay, so we stream all our ACCA and other courses live. You can attend our fantastic Platinum approved courses. I suppose I should say as well that we're the only college where the classroom course is Platinum approved, and then the online courses have been assessed by ACCA and they're Platinum approved as well, individually. All right, so everything we have is Platinum approved. As the lecture goes on, you can ask questions. So people at home, if they were so inclined, the chat box is open there, and you can just throw in a question. The lecturer would see it. So if somebody asks me something there at home, like why is a dog black or something, I'm not going to type back in the answer. I have no idea why a dog is black. No, I have no idea why you even come up with that question. Like, all right, but you would just you just explain it as best you could to the camera and to anybody else who's in the room. Invariably, what happens is that if somebody at home has a question, probably half the people in the room are thinking of the same thing anyway. Okay, so you can ask a question. As far as homework is concerned, we give out homework at the end of every lecture. The people who are doing the online course just have to do it as an Excel or spreadsheet, or on a spreadsheet or Word. You attach it as a PDF document and just send it in. We just correct it. Okay, so it's the same as from a homework point of view. All classes are recorded, so you can review them at any time. And pass rates we find for people doing the online course, they're no different to the people who are doing the face-to-face class. Now, if you're a face-to-face student, as in if you're coming into the classroom, you're also registered on the online platform. So that basically means that if you miss a class for whatever reason, you can either watch the live stream. So if you had to go down to Tralee or something for work, and while you're down there you wanted to stay in contact with the class, you can just log in and watch it from down there. If you missed a class because you were sick or whatever, you can catch up. If you fell asleep for 10 or 15 minutes during the lecture, you can catch up on that when you go home. Right? So because when this finishes, like we're streaming this live now, and when we're finished, everything is going to go immediately up online. Okay, and so that's how the classes will work as well. All right. Okay, so now the only warning I'd give, I suppose, with the online course, especially for the people who are doing the pure online course itself, the big thing to be conscious of it really is discipline, self-discipline. Because if you're doing an online course, you're sitting at home. There's a hell of a lot more interesting thing on your tablet than some fellas speaking to you about flipping financial reporting or auditing or tax or something. So it's very, very easy to get distracted. Obviously, it's just the modern world. Like, if you're stuck in a classroom, you're stuck here for the 3 hours. Like, okay. If you're doing an online course, in addition to the discipline, it is very, very important that you attend regularly. So if the course is streamed live on a Wednesday evening from 6:30 to 9:30 or whatever, you should make it your business to log in from 6:30 to 9:30 every Tuesday. Don't let a Tuesday go by and say, well, I'll do it tomorrow or I'll do it on Saturday, because you may or you may not do it. You're back then 3 hours. If you miss another session, you're behind 6 hours. If you've missed session 3 and 4, you can't just rock up like for session 5, because whatever's gone on in 3 and 4 will be necessary for session 5. So the word of warning I would give is that if you are doing online courses, whatever you might be doing them, make sure that you're regular with them. If the class is streamed live on a Wednesday and you can't do Wednesdays, well then just commit to doing it every Thursday or whatever. But have a time when you're going to attend your class. It is highly recommended that you attend the live stream rather than the recording, because it's a little bit more interactive, and I think from feedback it's easier to stay awake basically, and to interact with the session if it's streamed live. If it's a recording, obviously you can't ask questions either, because the chat box won't be working if it's the recording that you're watching. All right. So that's the online courses. Computer-based exams. Now, with ACCA have two different types of computer-based exams. For the first 4 papers, if you count the law, ACCA have what are called on-demand computer-based exams. And an on-demand computer-based exam means that you can do it whenever you want. So for the first 4 papers, you can literally sit them whenever you want. Now, you have to do them in a registered exam area or a registered exam hall and what have you. You make contact with them, you book your place, and you just turn up whenever you've booked it for. So you can literally sit it whenever you want. We run courses, so our courses are starting at the middle of September for financial accounting, management accounting, and accountant in business, and they all start finishing then towards the end of November. We would recommend that you would sit the exam within 10 days of the revision course finishing, because that gives you a couple of days to do your own bit of work, and all the information is still fresh in your head. Again, on-demand computer-based exams are brilliant, except it's too easy to kick the can down the road. And if you start kicking the can down the road, you could find yourself 6 months later and you still haven't set the exam. So it's very, very important to kind of set a date from the outset of a course that you want to sit the exam on, whatever, 12th of December or whatever it is, and stick to that like as if it was a paper-based exam that you just have to turn up. Okay? Because like we've all been in situations where we've had to do an exam in a week's time, and you kind of feel that, well, if I had another 10 days, like I'd really ace this time. And the temptation with this is just to cancel your exam and kick it down the road for the 10 or 12 days. All right, so just be careful with that. So the first 3, the law paper, remember, is a funny one. The law paper, if you're doing the paper-based exam, if you're doing the Irish exam, the variant, it's only available in June and December. If you do the UK paper or the global paper, but the global paper is very, very different to what we'd have in UK and Ireland. So take the UK law paper, and that's available as a on-demand computer-based exam. So you can do it whenever you want. All right. The other papers then in the applied skills are session-based computer-based exams. So they're only available the first week in March, June, September, and December. They're still computer-based exams, but they're session-based computer-based exams as opposed to on-demand. All right. And when the strategic professional kicks in March 2020, they of course will be session-based as well. They'll be available those 4 times a year. All right. So okay, so it's just the terminology really that when ACCA talk about on-demand computer-based exams and session-based computer-based exams, just to be clear on the differences between them. All right. Okay, and then there's the steps to qualification. Now we've mentioned this briefly already. Okay, about these pillars. So that, or the columns or whatever, or what you've got to overcome. So if you want to become an ACCA member, it's not just about passing exams. You've also got to have your 36 months, 3 years of work experience. There is a document that you must keep up to date, and it is important that you keep your PER, your practice experience record, that you keep that up to date as you go along. Again, there's a multitude of people who wait until the end of the 3 years when they're applying for membership, and then they go back and they start filling this thing in. They've maybe changed jobs 2 times, maybe 3 times, and then they're back trying to find somebody to sign the thing off. So you should get your PER record signed as you go along. Okay, any qualified accountant can sign it for you. If you have difficulties finding somebody, give ACCA a shout or give me a shout. It's not that I'd be able to do it for you, but I'd be able to give you advice on the different types of people that you can use to fill in your PER. Okay, but do try and keep it up to date as you go along. And then there's the ethics and professional skills module, and I've mentioned some ideas on that and about when you should sit it, namely before you start the strategic professional exams. Okay, there's a beautiful slide here that I got off ACCA. It just goes through the journey, I suppose. So the 36 months work experience. If you have any internships, any work that you did on work placement, any kind of work that you did as a graduate, all of that can be added and included in your 36 months. So you might already have some of your 36 months already complete. Okay, and it can be done before you sign up with ACCA. All right, so you may already have some of it done. And there's just another beautiful ACCS slide just showing the windy road, but it's still basically got the three things about the exams, the ethics and professional skills, and the work experience. Don't leave the ethics and the professional skills and the sorting out of your 36 months of work experience until you're finished the exams and you're an affiliate and you're trying to apply for membership. Okay, try and keep that stuff out of the way or out of order as best you can as you're going along. All right. There's a good question there from Mark now after all we talk about the online stuff. Is there much difference in cost for the online and the face-to-face classes? There's a difference of €100. So if you're a face-to-face class, let's say, I think it's normally for the skills, I think it's 770, 750 or 770. If you're doing the online course, it's €100 cheaper. Okay. So there's a slight difference. All right. Okay, so that's basically as much as I have to say. If anybody else has any questions online as well, if you've got any questions from what we've been covering there, be sure and type them in there. Or if anybody in the room has any questions, I'll just stop the recording anyway. Okay, so if you are watching this later on, okay, if you do have any queries, I'll just go back there to the. I suppose I should finish just at the very start there with the contact details. This information is available on the website anyway. But if you are watching this later on and you do have any queries, be sure to contact us there either at support@accountancyschool.ie or our telephone number, or and do follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook. Okay. Thanks very much for anybody who's watching the recording.